Welcome our viewers. Today we are going to make a tutorial on how to make a box pleat. And first of all, we are going to define what a box pleat is. A box pleat is made up of a set of two knife pleats that are turned away from each other. The other pleat meets at the center of the pleat and below the placement line. So we are going to start with a template showing the different lines that we need when making a box pleat. So we are using this paper. We are going to measure 3 inches from the edge, 3 inches, 3 inches. Then you make a straight line, and this line becomes our first fold line. From the first fold line, we are going to measure another 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. Remember, the measurements we are using are not the actual measurements we are supposed to use. So you are supposed to use the actual measurements that you're supposed to use on a garment. So we make a dotted line here, a dotted line. Then this one becomes our first lay line. From our first lay line, we are going also to measure another 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. Join a line. This one is going to become our placement line. Our placement line. From the placement line, we are going to measure another 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. Then we join with a dotted line. This line now becomes our second lay line. From the second lay line, we are going to measure 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. Then we join with a straight line, and this line now becomes our second fold line. So if we fold this paper at our first lay line, we fold it from our first lay line like this. Our first lay line like this. Then we fold at the first fold line like that. You find that our first lay line is going to lay below our placement line. Then we turn the paper, we fold along our second lay line and also fold along our second fold line. So both the first and the second fold line are going to meet below the placement line, as you can see. So even if you open this paper, you find that we have now made our box pleat. So we are now going to do the same to the fabric that we have. So by the use of our tape measure, we are going to measure. Now the measurement that you will use will depend on the size of the garment that you are making, or the width of the pleat that you want to make. So here, because you're just demonstrating, we are going to use just 4 inches from the selvage. We mark the 4 inches, and this becomes A, and then we do the same at the bottom so that we may get an even pleat. 4 inches from the bottom. From here at the top, we measure 3 inches. 3 inches. That becomes our B. This B becomes our first lay line, and at the bottom here we also measure 3 inches for the lay line. So from B we measure another 3 inches. the 3 inches becomes now, this line now becomes C, our placement line. Then at the bottom here we measure another 3 inches. This will help us to get an even pleat. Okay, from C now on our placement line, we are going to measure another 3 inches and another 3 inches at the bottom. And now this one becomes our second lay line. Sorry, from our second lay line we are going to measure another 3 inches, for the second fold line. So this one was C, this one becomes D, and this one becomes E. So this one is our first fold line, our first lay line, our placement line, our second lay line, and our second fold line. So we are going to fold along these lines. So we're going to fold along the first lay line. We fold like this, so our A, that means the first fold line, is going to lay directly below, or it's going to lay below our placement line. So we are going to pin so that it may stay in place. You pin just there. You pin like that so that the pleat may stay in place. So you pin. You pin along at the pleat into position. So now we've gotten the first set of our knife pleat. So now from D, now this D becomes which is our second lay line. We are going to fold the pleat. You're going to fold like this, and the E that we have, which is our second fold line, is also going to lay below our placement line. It is going to lay below our placement line. Then we pin so that the pleat may stay in place. So also at the bottom here, where we had marked, we are going also to pin. We are also going to pin. We're also going to pin there. So if you look at our pleat is even. Now the first set of knife pleat looks at that direction, and the other one looks at this direction. So now for this pleat to lay flat, we are going to iron. We are going to iron the pleat. We're going to iron the pleat so that it lies flat. We're going to iron the pleat. We're going to iron the pleat. From bottom to top. From top to bottom of the pleat so that it may lie flat. So if you need more pleats, you'll still use the same procedure to make more pleats. So that is the end of my presentation. So subscribe to my channel and like so that you may get more videos. Thank you for watching.